Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with some more Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast action. However, it is, as you'd probably have guessed, it's going to be more AlphaStar since we just got that big old replay pack release. So, going to be covering more of these robot videos for the next couple of days or weeks or something like that, till you guys really stop enjoying them. But I know you have all really enjoyed seeing all sorts of AlphaStar play, which, for those of you unaware, AlphaStar, it's basically the DeepMind learning AI project, so it's basically an artificial intelligence that learns to play Starcraft, and it does a pretty darn good job of it, but it's still a little quirky from what we've seen so far. And the last match that I cast, it was AlphaStar. It kind of refused to build an Observer versus a Zerg, so I thought, alright, let's give it another go and see if it kind of has a fundamental flaw as Protoss. So I thought, alright, we'll give it a repeat versus in PvZ. So I just thought, yeah, we'll check out this match. This time it's going to be taking on a Grandmaster player, so top 200 Europe, nothing to scoff at, that's for sure. Of course, we don't know who this is, but still should be a fantastic match here. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy these AlphaStar replay casts, just make sure to press that like button on this video. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to press that subscribe button, as you'll get notified whenever I put out a new one of these, say, AlphaStar videos, or just any StarCraft 2 video in general. I commentate a lot of StarCraft 2, not all AlphaStar games, lots of like high-level Korean games, tournaments that I put on, things like that, and I think that it's definitely worth checking out, as I've been doing that for quite a while now. Enough of the plug. As far as this game is underway here, we've got the Probe Scout from AlphaStar. I mean, AlphaStar needs to know information. It plays under the same constraints pretty much as a human, so it can't see all the map or anything like that in this iteration or whatever, and it can only look at one spot at a time, really. So if we look around at AlphaStar's vision, we can see exactly the cycles that it's going through and how it's basically just like looking around. It's like, okay, that's clear, that's clear. It sees an overlord coming on in. It's probably going to build a wall here. And interestingly enough, AlphaStar going to be going for a Stargate in the wall versus the Zerg. And now this is kind of an interesting play here. The fact that we're seeing this, it's like AlphaStar is basically like, all right, let's just make sure we get that wall up nice and quick. It's chrono boosting out its extra adept, so it doesn't seem to be interested in hiding that Stargate. And then it's just moving across the map with this first adept, so we'll see what is going to get done with this. I mean, a GM Zerg is a very, very good StarCraft 2 player, so should be able to stop this adept craft pretty well. AlphaStar taking a bit of a shield beating on that adept, wanting to avoid the queen any further, but yeah, just scouting out, which is really cool to see AlphaStar go for this sort of play. Now, it actually is going to shade on in here with this adept, but very good micro from the Zerg, keeping these drones alive so far. It looks like AlphaStar, oh, got a second of lag there. Uh-oh. We froze. Okay, we're back. Anyway, so yeah, very good micro from the Zerg player. Actually saves all of his drones. That's actually quite some impressive micro, shutting down the adept like that. But yeah, we're just going to see how this game's going on. Of course, losing one adept, not a good thing, but it's AlphaStar, so it's a little bit unpredictable. Whoa, look at this. AlphaStar loses his adept and then throws up 2 shield batteries behind its wall. This is really bizarre in a PvZ build, in a PvZ match. Like, it makes you wonder what he's doing. This is a very safe reaction to something, but I mean, the Zerg player's just droning. Does the Zerg sees this? Yes, he does. He's like, why is this Protoss building 2 shield batteries? I don't understand. And AlphaStar actually finishes those, and then behind this, it's really not going into much else. Just going to continuously build these oracles. We'll see how well it's going to micro these. It comes on in, but then it gets shooed away. So not a lot of success here for AlphaStar right out the gate. 3 adepts are crossing the map. And then looks like a third base going to be going up for the Protoss, but seems like just like a pretty inefficient build coming out of the Protoss so far. Of course, still going to be putting the pressure on his opponent. These 3 adepts crossing the map. There's oracles out to give control for the Protoss, but 3 adepts, I mean, odd adept timings can definitely work for the Protoss, but I don't know how well this is going to work out here. The 3 adepts shading towards the natural base there, and then just trying to pick off anything they can in the main base, but they got to get a fair bit of damage to pay for for themselves. They pick off one drone. How many more are they going to get? That's the real question, and it's not looking like it's going to be a lot. Yeah, like nothing really gets done there. 4 drones have died this game, and 4 adepts have died as well. So that is very, very poor for the Protoss player, all things considered. Now, the Protoss, if he can secure up his 3rd base, that would be all right for him, but these Lings, they're heading on in towards the 3rd right now, and AlphaStar needs to get its Oracles back. Will it recall them? Okay, it recalls 2 of them. That's something that I noticed in the last match of AlphaStar that I cast, that it actually did use that recall to get the Oracles back out on the map. There we go. We see this Oracle now picking off 1 or 2 of the Lings there. So AlphaStar does defend its 3rd base. It did mess with the Zerg's macro a little bit, clearly. The Zerg at 44 drones right now, throwing up a 4th base. Wait, this GM Zerg, he actually misplaced his hatchery versus AlphaStar. Huh. Definitely wants to reposition that, I feel. I wonder if he'll do that. 3 Oracles are getting hit by the Queens, though. They're retreating. AlphaStar is going to be like, hey, you, GM Zerg, why is your hatchery off position? This is actually really bizarre. You probably want to, like, I guess he's just deciding not to cancel this at this point as the Zerg. That's actually, like, kind of like a big mistake. But I guess the GM Zerg's like, hey, I'm doubling down. I didn't realize this in time. And now we take a look, AlphaStar just moving out on the map. Interestingly enough, 2 Adepts moving out again. I mean, double Adept harassment is good at pretty much any point in a game of StarCraft 2, unless your opponent has, like, Carapace upgrades or something as the Zerg, and you don't get that 1 shot off, but basically you usually do. So that's why double Adept harassment, pretty good. AlphaStar really likes its Oracles. It's gone up to 4. We're noticing this is a trend, so it really has a definitive PvZ playstyle so far, it would seem. Might get itself a Creep Tumor. No, good cancel there from the Zerg player. And for now, the Oracle's just looking around here, trying to find what they can. Having 3 or 4 Oracles is very nice for the Protoss because it basically guarantees your opponent can't all-in you with some roaches. So I think what this Zerg probably wants to be doing is either A, throwing up a Hydralisk Den, or B, going into like late-game Infestor Tech, which is generally what is recommended for Zergs to do in this day and age. Oracle's moving on in, they're going to pick off the Queen. They're actually going to start targeting down drones. So getting a fair bit of damage done there so far. One of the Oracles has gone down, probably going to be 2 pretty soon, but no, he's actually getting a lot of drones here, so probably worth it. This is a really big commitment from AlphaStar, just kind of charging on in there with all of his Oracles. He manages to get, gets quite a few. 22 drones have died this game. Now the Oracle dies on the Spore Crawler, so AlphaStar not actually microing its Oracle there correctly. Recall also goes down as a few hallucinated... Wait, what? AlphaStar just moved out with like a few hallucinated Archons and some other units. I guess it had a Sentry or 2 there. Now Lings are getting on in, trying to pick off the Disruptor. They actually get it. That is very nice. Ling's going to get on into the main base of AlphaStar. Going to try and pull him out of position here. The robotic StarCraft 2 player now has actually got up to 78 probes, so a very, very healthy worker count. And now really just needs to hold on, I feel. I mean, it did good damage to the Zerg with those Oracles, and I think it was an acceptable amount of damage to justify that. So as long as AlphaStar just, say, macros up here and doesn't do anything too derpy, I think it's in an okay spot in this PvZ. I mean, the Zerg player is actually building a NYDUS, so going into that strong NYDUS SWARMHOST style, but AlphaStar has had a fair bit of time to build on up here. 3 more gateways are getting on up for the Protoss, and then we've just got a Dark Shrine popping up too for AlphaStar. So everything considered, I think this is quite alright for AlphaStar. Disruption Nova going out, so we're going to be seeing AlphaStar trying to play versus SwarmHost NYDUS right now. This is actually really exciting. Can an AI beat it is the question. How good is SwarmHost NYDUS? All jokes aside, we see the Zerg player moving forward. There's a Disruption Nova going out. Gets a pretty good connection there. Good seeking from AlphaStar, but does lose one of the Disruptors there. Now, AlphaStar's, interestingly enough, making Phoenix, which is a really, really bizarre call versus SwarmHost, just going into a lot of Phoenix, but I guess it makes sense. There's really no anti-air. They're, in a sense, good versus... I'm trying to justify the AI's decision-making. They're good versus Locust in the air, and then they can also lift up SwarmHost before they pop out of a NYDUS. So let's take a look here. The Protoss player just moving around with his army, still heading into +2. Getting up Archons is very important versus Locust, as they tank. Their AoE is good. So more Archons on the way is nice to see for the Protoss player, for the AI here. Although, I mean, as this Swarm Host count grows, it could be a little bit painful. Phoenix are chasing after these Swarm Hosts, but they're not actually using their lift ability to lock them down, so they will escape. More Swarm Hosts are popping out, but AlphaStar is going to be looking to push forward. It's at a very high worker count, but oh my gosh, AlphaStar just completely missed micros its Disruptor there and actually just killed a ton of its own units. Big mistake there from AlphaStar with the way it goes through its selections, and it's still got Disruptors. It's warping in 10 more Stalkers behind this, but that was a huge mistake from the AI. It's now got to take care of these Ravagers that are moving forward. It's going to have Blink in just a second here, so I mean, it's not dead yet, but that was a bad move. There's no doubt about that. It's tanking through Corrosive Bowels. Disruption Nova getting a big shot on the Ravagers, though. Roaches are getting clean on up, so an okay fight for AlphaStar. I mean, it would be in a better spot if it didn't kill a ton of its own units with the Disruptor. But, I mean, AlphaStar, its macro pretty darn good, as it's at 83 workers still. It warps in a ton of Stalkers at a time, and now it's going to be pushing across the map, and I don't know if this Zerg player is actually going to have enough to stop the artificial intelligence just pushing across the map right now. Swarm Hosts are getting caught up here a little bit, so a wave of the Locust is being baited on out. AlphaStar is going to engage these head-on, but it should be able to tank through this with minimal losses. More Locusts are going out, and Roaches are coming to surround from the south. Disruption Nova's going out. I'm getting a little bit nervous. The Seeking from AlphaStar, though, is really good, staying on top of those Roaches, and now the Stalker's able to push forward. So this could actually be the first game of AlphaStar I cast, which the AI wins here. The Stalkers blink on top of the Roaches. They're going to be able to start picking off some of these units, and here we see AlphaStar pushing on forward. It's got Disruptors, it's got Blink Stalkers, it's got a Prism somewhere. Yeah, it's got a Prism still, so it can reinforce, and there we go. More and more Stalkers coming forward. This GM Zerg just seems to be falling apart a little bit. A wave of Locust is moving on in, but as long as the Protoss can tank through this, he should be in a pretty good spot. The Zerg player's moving forward, trying to get Corrosive Bile down on the Prism. If the Prism falls, that's the reinforcing potential of the Protoss. I mean, the Zerg player's still hanging on. The Zerg is still up on supply technically with all of this Roach Ravager. Do we see AlphaStar get off any good Disruption Novas, though? So far, the Zerg just lost another base here. The third is gone. The fourth is gone. Looks like a fifth going to be starting, but I don't know if that's in time. We now see the Roach Ravager trying to buy time, toss out Corrosive Bowels while a wave of Locust is going out, but man, this is just a lot of Protoss here, and all this maxed out Protoss army, and I don't know if this Zerg can do anything about it. The Stalkers blink forward offensively. Corrosive Bile being tossed on out, so a lot of Stalkers are dying. Disruption Nova's going out, but oh, look at this. A big wave of Locusts coming on in here. It's getting on top of the Stalkers, and Stalkers just melt versus Locust, so the Zerg player actually holds here and is going to be able to rout AlphaStar. Now, that being said, I'm not sure if this is still a good position or not for the Grandmaster player. I mean, he has been knocked down to 2 bases, mined out main pretty much, and mined out natural pretty much. They're really on their last legs. So we're going to need to see some very good efficiency here from these Swarm Hosts, if I had to say so. Or, yeah, where are all the Swarm Hosts? Where are they? Okay, there they are. The Swarm Hosts, though. Oh, no, they're actually being caught here. The Phoenix finally using its lift ability. A Locust Wave does go down, though, but a Disruptor also getting a connection off. I mean, these players, or the player and the AI, both multitasking a lot. The Locusts, though, they still have a lot of potential here. A Disruptor is actually going to go out, though, and it hits a good few of the Swarm Hosts. But today I learned Disruptors do not actually one-shot a Swarm Host, which is something that's really... Okay, that's literally a today I learned. Okay, now, the Protoss player still tossing out Disruption Novas. It's got a good amount of Blink Stalkers. That seems to be its unit of choice. Just really enjoying that mobility. The resources income, though, very far ahead for the Protoss. AlphaStar up to 86 probes still, able to produce a ton of units. We take a look at the income. It is just way, way higher there for AlphaStar, definitely winning out. And as long as it keeps remaxing here, I think it's in a pretty good spot. The Zerg player is still trying to NYDUS to pull his opponent all over the place, but this is a lot of Protoss right now. Can the Zerg hold on once again? He's just reestablishing his base. He's trying to buy time with his Ravagers. AlphaStar is out on the map. It is going to have to react, though, to this NYDUS. I don't know if AlphaStar reads audio cues or not, though, for knowing a NYDUS is out. Or if it'll read the side display messages that pop out. The Zerg player getting some counter damage done as well. AlphaStar, though, is looking to push on in here. Disruption Nova goes out. Oh, gets a pretty good shot. The Seeking for AlphaStar, when it's not killing its own units, is actually really, really good. on staying on top of those Ravagers. Now we see a ton of Stalkers, DTs, and Zealots even buffering here for the army. Disruption Nova goes up, hits the Queen's DT, finishes it off. The Ling counterattack is getting a bit of damage done here versus the Zerg, but with the Zerg losing its hatchery again once it's just a not great spot here for the Bug. The DT still working when the Ravager. We need to see an Overseer here for the Zerg player pretty soon as, yeah, those Ravagers starting to die. Where's an Overseer? Where's an Overseer, Mr. Zerg? The Zerg player is indeed the AI, so is not AlphaStar, so we should know to make detection. There we go. Finally, detection on the way, but I mean, the Zerg's still trying to hold on. A wave of Locust goes out once again. He's still desperately surviving. The Locusts are getting pretty good efficiency, but we see more DTs, more Zealots getting on top of all of these Swarm Hosts. It's really just a handful of Roach Ravager to hold on after that. The Zerg supply is really dropping right now, and that's going to be it. GG gets called as AlphaStar is able to take the match in I'd say a much better PvZ for AlphaStar. It knows how to play versus Roach Ravager Swarm Hosts pretty darn well, I dare I say, compared to Lurkers anyway in my past video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, AlphaStar doesn't build observers versus Lurkers. You can really check that out, and that gets a bit messy for a Protoss. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this AlphaStar coverage, if you want to see more as usual, make sure to press that like button. I think my next video after this one is probably going to be like a regular cast, but feel free to subscribe and check that one out as regular StarCraft 2 players that aren't AI is just as exciting. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.